Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, the launch of the new 2024 RF. No, not Pro Staff, Wilson RF. Stay tuned. Hey coaches, are you tired of feeding 1,000 balls an hour and not being able to see exactly what's going on in their techniques of your players?
Ready position.
Fast track tennis is the way. They'll feed the balls for you. You can stand on the same side as the person you're coaching. You can see exactly what they're doing wrong. Are they turning? Are they turning wrong?
Uniturn. Swing.
Can you really see it from the other side?
Uniturn.
Get fast track tennis today and help your
Swing.
students and help yourself with your lesson.
Swing.
All right, so let me introduce you to the new Wilson RF Pro model. Now, there are numbers and there are specs already online that are unstrung and probably with the plastic off the handle. We were so excited, I strung it quickly, not thinking about any of that stuff, but I figured you guys would want to know strung weight at least, strung balance, and then Coach Gu was so excited, he's kind of waiting over there, that he put an overgrip on it already. There is leather under here, okay? So I'm going to tell you what the real specs are on this racket before we go hit with it, okay? Now, most people are going to do this. They're going to string it, right? Tell me you are going to go out without a strung racket. Yeah, thought so. Tell me you are going to not put an overgrip over the leather. I would say 99.9% of you are going to do this. So it's going to probably weigh this much. Balance this much. Swing weight this much. First thing we're going to do, get the weight. 339. Okay, so take my notes for you guys. RF 2024 Pro model. Weight 339. Pretty good, actually. All right. Let's go balance. Nope. 3. Is that right? 320 something? Yeah, with the overgrip, I guess it really balances his back out. 323? Interesting. Now, Gu used up that whole overgrip, so that may change a little bit when he's doing it. So we kind of wrapped it thick up here. I guess I could straighten it out, but I think Wilson wants me to use a Wilson tape like that just to highlight it's Wilson. I get it, Wilson. You know. All right, swing weight. Three, 2, 9. Those are the weight, balance, and swing weight of your new RF 2024 Pro Edition with everything on there. All right, or at least what you would put on there. So all I need to know is RA from Wilson, and that will actually help me out a lot. Then I can tell you. All right, so it's time to hit with it. We've been waiting so long already. See you on the court. Coach Rob with the new RF, and he ain't gonna give it back. Coach, what'd you think?
Give it to me. This felt great. I mean, obviously I use a pro staff and have used the Fed model, but this felt great. It was so plush. Obviously, you've got gut and the ALU on the crosses, but the sweet spot was huge. Really could feel like you're coming around the ball. Love the weight, the balance. It was.
What was the main difference between the old RF and the new RF then? Just power, I think.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, you strung it at 52, you were saying,
Yeah.
so
Fresh.
it was fresh. Ball jumped. It's obviously warmer out, so
Yep.
we've got to add that in there a little bit. But
I didn't feel like it flexed it. Flexed it. Is that a word? Flexed it. It was like on it just like ding ding.
I felt the sponge of the string bed,
Right.
I guess, but not the frame.
Right. I was
Uh,
expecting to feel more frame, and I didn't feel frame.
Right.
I just felt like a solid impact into like a catapult.
Right.
Or
That was
slingshot.
that flush feeling of the ball just kind of you really being able to keep the racket behind the ball through the zone. And
Yep. Yeah, what I'm
Okay.
talking about is, even a slingshot, when you have the thing in the middle, like even when you pull it back, depending on what
going
kind
this
of
way?
yeah,
Okay.
towards me.
Yep.
Even when you pull it back, especially if it's back in the day when it was made out of wood, it would it would bend right like that. That didn't bend. It was just the elastic rubber band part that was
Right.
working. So I felt like they made it stiffer. I don't know the stiffness though at the time of this video.
Right. It does say it was designed and engineered for the next generation of creative tennis players.
Does that mean retired?
Chicago, Illinois, and it also says Roger plus Wilson.
Yes. All
So
right.
very cool. You get the RF butt cap. That was neat. It's got the RF on the side. A couple little RFs at the top.
It's 10 grams lighter, so we got a little more of the Roger fans being able to actually use it.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
Great. I mean, not everybody's gonna be able to swing that heavy of a stick.
Right.
So
So you got friends like that are in the 40, 45, 50?
yeah,
that?
if you're a pro staff guy, if you've used the Fed before and you're looking to try the new one, definitely get your hands on it. On this one.
Yeah. Guys, check it out. I like this too. I like it because it's stiffer, and I feel like all the weight distribution when hitting with Coach Rob kind of just came through all at once without being so headlight that I couldn't feel anything, or so head heavy that it was just like ball and chain coming through. It felt like it was one piece, and it was a stiff one piece. So I'm actually trying to figure out what the stiffness index is on this, because I really want to know.
Well, and I think when we've used some of the other older Fed models that we customized, you really felt you just got it started and it was going
It took
on its
over.
own. Yeah, and I kind of felt that same thing with this. Even though it wasn't quite as heavy, but the same feeling.
Yep. All right. So I know you want to keep this, but I gotta bring it to the next coach. Coach Rob, thank you as always.
Sure.
Glad to give you the first try.
There we go.
I'll let you hold it for 10 seconds.
10 seconds more.
To the next coach. All right, Jerod and Bryce just got off the court with the RF Pro. What'd you think of that, Coach?
First off, I have to say it's pretty cool that these new Wilson sticks have the RF logo on the butt cap. At the same time, also have the RF logo on the side of the racket. If I'm just comparing the cosmetic from this one to the previous version, which is the RF 97 Autograph, I like this paint job way better. The biggest difference too between this racket, there you go.
You mean this one?
Exactly, just a full black RF autograph. But the biggest difference between this frame and the RF 97 autograph is you obviously don't have the PWS on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is more tailored towards more so not really a player stick, but more like a tweener frame. So instead of fitting like the classic traditional smooth striker, this kind of gives you a lot more forgiveness. At the same time, as you can tell in the middle of the racket, the string pattern is actually a lot tighter, and it gets a little bit more open as you hit the sides. But what's funny is that if you hit any part of the racket, it's actually very consistent all around.
Right.
So I was hitting some off-center shots, still felt like the racket was pretty predictable. At the same time, you just have a ton of heft with this one, because traditionally with all the RF sticks, they're pretty heavy, easy plow. The only thing I have to say, though, is I'm not sure how I'd fare with this in a match, because when you swing with a 12-ounce racket, it does get pretty hard to swing around. But overall, when you're fresh, hitting well, and kind of everything's going your way, this racket kind of does it all for you. So again, defensive shots were great. Put away power was amazing. Overall, was not expecting this kind of stick for Roger Federer's kind of, I guess, retirement racket per se. But overall, completely enjoyed the play test, and Wilson's been doing a great job with their sticks, and this could actually be one that I might want to switch to.
Ooh,
so,
switching to the Fed.
Great stick overall. Yeah.
So more plow. Would you say it was stiffer than this?
I wouldn't say necessarily stiffer. It was a lot more responsive. So,
Interesting.
yeah, I'd say I'd had a lot easier time generating pace. The biggest difference, too, between this racket and that racket that I forgot to mention was this is a 98 and this is a 97.
Right.
So just a little bit more head size, a little bit more pace on it. And overall, I think I just enjoyed it because I was also used to just hitting with 98 square inch head size rackets. But I think the whole mold and everything, the whole weight distribution was even throughout the racket, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. So good stick from Wilson.
Okay. Bryce?
Yeah, it was a solid racket. Picking it up, it felt really firm, and it felt really steady. And I kind of tried different swing motions, hitting more like just plowing through with my arm versus just my wrist, and both ways of hitting the ball felt really great. Yeah, it's just fantastic feeling. I really love the paint jobs too. Like Jerod said, it's just a good looking racket, really well balanced, so fits all kinds of players.
You normally use a blade, right?
Yeah, I normally use a blade.
Do you think there was more power in this racket?
For sure. Yeah, with the weight, it was manageable, even though it's a little bit more than my blade. And yeah, it still felt really manageable, good power, but good consistency.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Would you switch to it?
I'm really tempted, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm really tempted.
Okay. All right. Guys, thank you for your feedback on these. Coach Jerod, where can we find you?
You guys find me on Instagram at Mod Tennis and follow my joint Instagram at KJ Tennis.
All right. Did you want to share an Instagram, Bryce?
Yeah, I'm at Postres Delivery Co.
Yep.
All right. Off to the next coach. All right, just got off the court. The Fed model of the RF series.
Yes,
I'm pretty impressed.
I like it a lot.
Tell me what you felt.
Overall, I felt like this is the pro stuff that everyone wanted to use that cannot use his racket back in the day. When they only made pro stats with, the Roger specs, that thing was so heavy, I don't think a lot of players even tried to use it. They used it for a few days, and they're like, my arms, they're giving out. This is actually the user-friendly one, the one that people were like, okay, if I wanted to use the Roger specs without trying so hard, this is the one for me. And it did not disappoint. This racket did not disappoint. It did play like the Pro Staff Roger that, what version was that? That was like a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
12 years ago.
12 years ago, probably. But like, this is the more user-friendly. It definitely packed the punch. A lot of people did, when they used that racket back in the day, felt like it was all muted and did not feel like there was any power. It was very precision-based.
Not the red one.
Not the red one.
The first one was the
The
best
red one
one.
was the best one. But afterwards, it was kind of a struggle. They
Yep.
were trying to find it. But this version is basically, they reamped it to now the Federer line here, and they did a really good job.
Yep. I feel
Right.
like they took the red one and lightened it up.
Yeah, and
then
then put it in,
stiffened it up.
and stiffened it up, and made it even better, I think, in my opinion, for the consumer market. So if you are looking for that red racket that Roger used to use back in the day, and you want some easier power and access to the sweet spots, this is the one. You found it again.
Yeah, good job. I saw a video of Roger in like a boardroom saying, I helped develop this one. A lot of you have bought my racket, and a lot of you bought my racket, but you usually can't use it because it's so heavy. Well, this is the one that you can use now because, you know, I'm not on tour anymore. I don't need all that weight, is pretty much what he said. And this is the one that's going to be easier for all of us to use, which is exactly what you said.
Yeah. So basically, to sum it up, Federer listened to you guys.
Yeah, and he made his racket so that you guys can play with it.
It is actually probably the easiest racket to play with if you are a Roger fan. If you wanted his racket, really pretty much all you wanted was his racket, and you wanted to play with it all the time, this is the one for sure.
Yeah, so this is unlike previous models in that it is more powerful, okay? It's easier power. The weighting is very similar, though, to the old one, except that it's just a hair more weighted in the head. It still goes through fast, though. It still goes through fast. With his, you know, gut main and ALU rough cross at 52 pounds, it was easy to get that launch off the frame, easy to penetrate through the court, easy to get feel. So great all-around racket. If you're a high-level player and you just want a little bit more help, this would be the one. Who would you recommend this to?
I would recommend to anyone 4 or 5 and over. Even the college players would probably even use this because, I mean, it's a great racket as well. Weighted the right way, probably don't need to weight it, like leave it as stock as it is. And, I mean, it's a great racket. Like I'm really shocked of how it plays, and it reminds me of the pro staff. But it's the one thing that he just said, like that Roger kind of marketed it they made my racket like for everyone to use, and that's why it was.
Your main complaint on this was the strings were too lively for you.
A little bit, yes. I know it's the specs on the strings, but it is a little lively. If I would have to use this racket, I would probably use Slolenko's Tourbite, but or just go full poly.
Yeah, full poly would work.
With this racket would be actually pretty darn surprisingly useful. I think with his spec, I'm just not a huge like hybrid guy like him, but if I had to use it, a full poly would be just fine, I think, in this racket. Yeah,
I agree. This is good just for messing around and getting a soft plush feel.
Yeah.
But I think a full bed of poly would work very, very well here.
I would be
ALU 53.
Yeah, that would be
straight
perfect.
through. Perfect. All right, Coach Good, thank you so much for testing out the new Fed.
Thank you.
Where can we find you?
You can find me at AG.tennis. I'll also be posting content there as well.
All right. Guys, thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.